Welcome back. This is the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Carr. I have Emmanuel Nobo and Yafrin Pom as my wingman earlier. Rahman Osman joined us on Zoom. Let's move on to the tastiest game of the round. The game everybody wants to see is Arsenal versus Manchester City. And we have a road show this weekend. We are going to plus 233 Jazz Bar and Grill on the Ring Road. I don't know if you have that image. Maybe we can put it on for our viewers to know what we are doing. It's happening on Sunday. So Sunday we'll give you two games, Brighton and Liverpool. As some people call it, the curtain raiser. And then the big one is in North London, Arsenal and Manchester City. Guys, for Arsenal fans, this was the game they were looking for it because the standard is Man City. We can beat Man City, we can probably win the league. Now, Arsenal took on Man City in the Community Shield. They won that game on penalties. Yeah. But they are coming into this with some issues. Bukayo Saka, and I was listening to Mikel Arteta, he says they'll have to check and see if he can make the game. Late fitness test. He says Thomas Partey makes the squad and that he's ahead of schedule. I wonder if he's fit enough to start, knowing the demands of the game. Man City do not have Rodri, and that changes a lot about how they will play. Let's start off with Arsenal. We'll get to Man City in a second. Yeah, you are Mikel Arteta. Tuesday night didn't go well. Yeah. We lose to Lens. Bukayo Saka picks up an injury. You are hoping he's fit. Best case scenario, Saka plays. Let's look at the worst case scenario. If Saka doesn't play, what does Arteta do?
Well, it's quite simple. He's got Gabi Jesus, who's quite efficient across the forward line. He doesn't offer what Saka offers in the sense that he can come in and create, but he offers you someone who's stay wide and can get a ball in to Nketiah as well.
So you have the two?
I'll have Nketiah as the main number 9, and I'll put Jesus on the right. Fabio Vieira is an option, but he's more of a playmaker. So my concern is, will he give me what I want from a winger? No. He's not going to work hard enough for me. He'll still want to come in central, and that would limit you, especially when you've got Odegaard. Odegaard can't do the work, so you just have to trust those that are in the middle to do the work. With Declan Rice, Odegaard, you don't really need someone else joining them in there. So you'd go for someone who can stay out wide. So Jesus or Reece Nelson. Those are my two options.
Reece Nelson.
Especially...
What about almighty Havertz?
Havertz will be... I know he's going to think I'll stick Havertz in the middle because I want him to play as one of my number 8s, 10s behind the forward line. But with Reece Nelson, you're going up against Ake. I think he's got pace. That's what Arsenal can do something different with just quick transitions. So if you've got someone like that, and there's no Rodri to actually block any quick transitions, so a quick player like that would be a joker for Arsenal.
Wow. Quite interesting. Reece Nelson, or you'd go with Gabi Jesus. I probably would have gone with Trossard right.
Is Trossard fit?
I don't know. So Arteta has got some of these questions to answer. So let's assume whatever. Arsenal or Arteta has the players he will get. Asterisk on Saka, asterisk on Trossard. What should be the game plan, irrespective of the personnel? How does he get 3 points in this game? Because this game weighs more than 3 points. It's a psychological swing, whoever wins it. If City wins, Arsenal will feel that we are not there. If they beat Man City, they feel that, yeah, we are there.
Well, I think two things can be right at the same time. If they beat City, does it mean potentially they can win the league? Yes. But then if you look at last season, Arsenal didn't lose the league because they lost to City in both legs. They lost the league because they couldn't finish the job against West Ham. They couldn't finish the job against Brentford. Brentford, yes, officiating and all that.
And Southampton.
Yes, they couldn't finish the job against Southampton. They couldn't finish the job against Liverpool. That's why they lost the league. So a win against City, yes, it gives you a moral high ground. But out of which all the teams had their best players, then we would know everybody's level. But then for Arsenal, I think it's just they'll just need to be more efficient. If you look at the game they had last season, I think up until the Ramsdale error, which led to De Bruyne scoring, Arsenal had City pending to a level. Now they don't have Rodri. In the last 3 games they've played since Rodri got the red card, they've conceded.
1-1, lost 2.
Yeah.
They've won 1, lost 2. They've conceded in those games. How have they conceded? Quick transitions. I think the template to beat City is quite simple. when you get the ball, within 3 to 5 passes, you should be hitting the shot on target. If you are not doing that and you are delaying, that's when the Rodri comes in, fouls. Then the game dies down, they settle into their shape, and then it's harder to penetrate them. If Arsenal are able to be efficient, and then that's the big worry, because they have the most inefficient players playing in strike. You have Nketiah and you have Gabriel Jesus. But then, should Havertz start? This is a game where I think...
Should he start?
Yes. This is a game I think if he has his mentality on point.
Yeah.
He's played in one of the biggest games in world football. He scored in the Champions League final. He should take this as a Champions League final. Go in there and prove why the manager spent so much money on him. And then, if you can grab a goal. I mean, this is the weakest City you can get to a large extent. There's no De Bruyne, there's no Rodri. So with the games they've played, City have shown that they are quite vulnerable in the middle. They've also shown that if you can hit them quickly on the transition, if they can patch up, if they can even get a 70% Saka, maybe play him maybe the first 60 minutes, try to get a lead, consolidate it, and then you can take him off to rest. If they can do that and they can be efficient up front, I think they can beat City.
Wow. That should be fun. Let's talk about Manchester City. You highlighted it well. Without Rodri, they've had issues. They won at RB Leipzig, but they still conceded. They conceded 2 at Wolves, and then, you know...
Newcastle.
They lost at Newcastle in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, so what does Pep do now? What kind of lineup does he put out? And what should be the thinking behind, you know, the plan? What's the plan really for Sunday?
Well, the plan is to just not get caught on fast breaks. But then again, he needs to find a way to unlock Haaland. Because now we've seen that Haaland, he's not the best footballer, but he's a good finisher. You just need him closer to your opponent's goal, just taking the chances when they fall to him. So it's about trying to find a way to feed Haaland. And I think we've seen Doku do something special in the sense he takes on a man, he shifts the ball, he's either shooting or he's passing, and he's moving into space. That's very good for City, because what that means is that Ben White can't get the luxury of joining the midfield or Partey joining Declan Rice. So then you're keeping Arsenal occupied to an extent, and he works hard for the team. But Alvarez is probably the most important player for City.
Who would have thought?
Well,
that Julian Alvarez.
Ragnick thought.
Yeah, he was good enough, but so, the smart people at Man United said no.
If you have Alvarez, he's a creator, he's a finisher, and he works hard for the team. I
think he's an all-rounder.
Yeah, he doesn't. You don't know if he's a number 9 or a number 10 or a winger, because he's efficient wherever you put him. So that's one key player for City. If you have him having time on the ball, because it's Declan Rice that's probably going to be on him. So he needs to find a way to occupy Declan Rice. That means that probably instead of City playing the usual one man behind Haaland, this time around they should have 2.
Okay.
So it should be Foden and Alvarez. Okay. So then you force Arsenal to copy you. Either they're going to mirror with two players sitting deep, or one player trying to decide what he's going to do. Those 2 in the middle will make it difficult for Arsenal, and then City will probably enjoy the game. Interesting
tactical option. Play 2 men behind Haaland, Foden and Alvarez.
Yeah, it will give their defense a lot of thinking to do. I think the interesting thing with how this whole Alvarez dynamic has developed, especially with De Bruyne being injured, is that because of what Haaland did last season, there's so much concentration on him. Defenders are kind of glued to, where is he? We have to stop Haaland. And then Alvarez just pops in. He has so much space to maneuver. He's getting goals. He's creating space. Like he's creating chances. He's moving into the right channel. So that's actually, I think there should be more concentration on him and Foden, because if anything will twist, if any gap will open up, those are the people who will look to exploit it. If they start Doku too, I think they'll probably, if Guardiola can put Doku on the left-hand side of Arsenal, so then that forces Zinchenko not to invert as much, because if
that
he
means
does,
you have Doku playing on Man City's right.
Exactly. So then that forces Zinchenko not to invert as much, because if he does, Doku has the pace to easily get him behind, which will spell trouble for Arsenal. So I like the tactical nuances of this game. It's going to keep the coaches will have to do a lot of thinking, and whoever comes out of this game, the winner, will probably have to have his team on point from minutes 1 to minutes 90.
What midfield option should Pep go with? Mateo Kovacic didn't look really good at Wolves. He looked completely out of it. Yeah. But he's probably the best they have.
Well, he's got the experience. He's played against Arsenal several times, but this game you need someone who's going to be very disciplined to just sit and break up play. So maybe Nunes will be a better option.
Okay. He's a runner and a dribbler.
He's a runner and a dribbler, but in this situation where when you have possession, he's going to be an asset to you. When you don't have possession, he's going to track back enough. He's going to have enough time to just come. He just has to make one tackle. It has to be the right one. He makes that tackle. The turnover goes to someone who's got a bit more ability on the ball, and then that person starts off the attack. And it's likely going to be Kyle Walker on the right. So he's probably going to be assisting him. I think that's the only way, because that's the only way City can cope. The options aren't many. And Rico Lewis, I think he's a bit wild. He's shown sometimes that his touch isn't the best. And same with Nunes as well. Yeah. Pep actually requires the person who's playing that role to be as technical as possible. So if it's someone that can just break up play, your touch is good, you pass it, Calvin Phillips, jittery. He's still not a City player, in my opinion. He's still not comfortable. So those are some of the things.
He hasn't played more games. So.
He hasn't played enough, yes. But
if you've got Rodri ahead of you, you can't dislodge Rodri.
Someone posed the comment that the reason why he's been fit is because he's not been playing as much.
And if John Stones was available, City would have.
Actually, he was on the bench in the Champions League games.
So maybe we might see him if he does play, but I don't think he can do a full 90. Yeah. So he might be another option. Yeah.
Hybrid centre back. Midfield.
But I think since he got injured, nobody has been able to play that role as well as he did. For the dying part of last season, they've tried Akanji in there. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. Even in midweek, Akanji didn't look so pretty. So coaches have big decisions to make before Sunday.
Yeah, in terms of the fitness, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Arsenal taking on Manchester City, the big one on Sunday, and we are out of the office. We are going to the +233 Jazz, +233 Grill and Jazz Bar on the Ring Road. Join us there as we give you Brighton versus Liverpool and Arsenal versus Manchester City this Sunday in the Premier League. All right, let's move on to the next part of our show. Let's get into the debate.